when we have a swing that's a little bit short of parallel, it doesn't really have a lot of time to get back into what people call the slot, right? Back into position. We want to get this club in position as early as possible so that we can just rotate through the ball. The problem is, the way your swing works, when you're taking this club back, okay, as this right elbow starts to separate and fly, it starts to push the shaft a little too far across the line. And the problem is, from here now, because your backswing's not very long, it requires way too much time to try and get that club back into that position. So what ends up happening is, in the early stages of your downswing, even though the club is trying to get there, it doesn't really have enough time. And so from being up and across the line, as you start to come down, the club stays a little too steep in the early parts of your downswing. And then from here, you're kind of stuck, right? If I try to rotate with a steeper golf club, I'm just going to hit a double cross that's going to pull left, which we obviously don't want. And that's where a lot of your big misses will come from. Or what's going to happen is, from here, club gets steep early in the downswing, and then we see you start to react to try and shallow it out at the last second. So that's when you'll typically see the pelvis kicks forward, the spine extends, and then from here, this club drops under the plane, and I can just hit this big block that goes way too far to the right. So what's the best way to correct this? The best way to correct this is, when we're going up, let's try to avoid flying this elbow and getting the club across the line. So instead of being here at the top of the backswing, I would love for you to be more in that direction. Meaning, instead of having this elbow flying and pulling behind you, we want to try to keep this elbow in front of us and almost feel like we're rotating the arm back behind the elbow joint. What that's going to do is, as I'm going up, if I keep my elbows more connected to each other, I will change the way the club folds. So now at the top of my backswing, the club gets a little bit more laid off, which is more preferable for a shorter pattern, so that in the early stages of the downswing, the club stays a lot shallower. And then from here, I can just rotate to get the club back into position. And then I can get the hands to exit left. I can avoid flipping at the bottom, and I can rotate really nicely. And that's what's going to help us to stabilize the club face. Here's what you're going to do. A lot of one-handed feel swings, okay? You're going to hold the club with your right hand. You're going to take the left hand and you're going to tuck it behind the arm, so behind the tricep. And I want you to make backswings where you feel like you're keeping this right elbow in front of you. Don't let the elbow fly and pull behind the body. We're trying to keep that elbow joint in front of us as we're loading up to the top. That's going to help us keep the club in a better position. If the elbow flies and pulls behind us, that's what throws the club across the line.